In this lesson, we're going to review the two most commonly used procedures in VBA. These two common features are the subprocedures and the function. We're then going to look at the differences between the two and better understand them and how they're structured. So let's start with the typical use case. The typical use case is that these procedures are necessary to write a VBA code. You need to learn the procedures if you want to progress with your VBA coding. They are the start and the end of your VBA code. You can't write a VBA code without defining whether it is a subprocedure or if it's a function, as Excel will not recognize the code that you have typed. Once you define in your code the procedure that you're following, Excel will accordingly follow the instructions based on the procedures defined. Let's go through a simple example. We're going to explain the importance of having procedures defined in your VBA code by first trying to run the code without them. We will now use the one-liner code shown here that is a message box to welcome you with your unique username. After pasting the code, we're going to press the F5 key. VBA will try to run the code, but as we have not defined the procedure yet, it'll not be able to detect the code. This results in VBA ending up opening a macros window for you to select from a list of saved macros that you can run. In our case, as we didn't have any other macros saved, the window displayed will be blank. This shows that it's important to define in your module what procedure you're going to be following. Let's now take a look at the most common procedures in detail. First, we're going to talk about the function procedures. Functions are procedures that perform calculations and return a value or an array. This is like using formulas in Excel, such as the offset formula. You either get a single value or an array. For example, whenever you write the offset formula in Excel, the result is either a value in a cell or a range selection if you have multiple height values in the offset formula. We will now input a function procedure into VBA. To begin with, type function in the VBA module and add space and then give your function a name. It is better to always name the functions so that you can identify the purpose of the code. Make sure that there are no spaces in your name, and if you want to add a space, then just use an underscore or start a new word with a capital letter. Press enter and you'll be able to see a parenthesis that will be created next to the name, and the end function statement is also automatically created. This means that you're required to write the code within these boundary limits. In this example, we will write the function that converts the measurement unit, feet, into inches. For conversion, we will multiply feet as a value by 12 to get the values for inches. The function will look like this. We can now go into Excel and type the formula, just like we would do for other formulas. Just type equal sign followed by the name you gave in your code, and then refer to the cell that has the values in feet. You will see your data converted into inches. Another point to note is that you cannot use the record macro technique to record a function procedure. VBA coding is the only possible way to do that. We're now going to discuss the subprocedures, also called subroutines. Subprocedure is the most common form of procedures used in the VBA module. In all of our previous lessons, we used subprocedures to record automated instructions in Excel. When we use the record macro technique, it also stores the VBA code as subprocedures in the module. A subprocedure is a set of instructions for Excel to follow. The subprocedure starts with sub and ends with end sub. Between these two terms are instructions for Excel to follow. These instructions can be a combination of anything, such as instructing Excel to copy cells, change font size, etc. We will now input a subprocedure into VBA. To begin with, type sub in the VBA module and add a space, and then give your subprocedure a name. It's better to always name the subprocedure so that you can identify the purpose of the code. Again, make sure there's no spaces in the name, and if you want to add a space, then you can just use an underscore or start a new word with a capitalized letter. Press enter and you'll see a parentheses which will be created next to the name, and the end substatement is also automatically created. This means that you're required to write the code within those boundary limits. We will now write the code so that it copies column B and pastes it into column D and then unselects the copy selection. The code is as follows. You can see that the code has a set of instructions for Excel to follow rather than returning a single value or an array. The code instructs Excel to select column B and copy it. Then it instructs Excel to select column D and paste the copied column. Here you can also use range, open parentheses, and in quotations D1 dot select instead of column, open parentheses, and in quotations D dot select, and the results will be the same. The last instruction sets the property of the copy function to false so that the column is no longer copied. Based on this lesson, you should have a clear understanding of the difference between a function procedure and a subprocedure.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. And if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, check out these videos above. And don't forget to check out our website, commercecurve.com, where we have lots of in-depth finance and accounting courses available with full training workbooks. All of our courses come with complete workbooks of lessons, examples, pre-built financial models, and training video. Hope to see you there.